Hey guys, Ed from Paranormal Inc. Ohio, back at it again with another podcast episode. Tonight's episode is going to be about David Berkowitz, the son of Sam serial killer who wreaked havoc in New York and New Jersey. Now, he claimed that a Labrador, his neighbor's dog, was possessed by a demon that told him to kill. Later on in life, many years later, they also found out that Son of Sam may not have just been Son of Sam, it was Son of Sam's. And Sam was a whole other entity altogether, part of a satanic cult, which I will tell you all about. But first, we're going to learn about David Berkowitz and his crimes. So again, I found this all in research that I've done and put everything together, and I'm going to read it to you as I found it and as the people that are saying it. But I think it's an interesting story, guys. Let's talk about David Berkowitz's humble beginnings. David Richard Berkowitz was born in Brooklyn, New York on June 1st, 1953, and was given up for adoption. He lost interest in learning at a young age and became infatuated with petty theft and starting fires. By the age of 17, he had joined the U.S. Army and served time in South Korea in 1971. After a dishonorable discharge 3 years later, Berkowitz managed to track down his birth mother, who disclosed the details of his illegitimate birth. This news greatly disturbed him and shattered his sense of identity. During the mid-1970s, Berkowitz started committing violent crimes in New York City, boroughs of the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. He favored female victims, most often with long, dark, wavy hair. In 1976, one of Berkowitz's army friends gifted him a .44 caliber Bulldog gun. Now there was no stopping him. On the morning of July 29, 1976, Berkowitz walked up to a parked car in the Bronx where two young women were talking and fired 5 rounds from his revolver into the vehicle. Donna Laurie, 18, was killed instantly, and her friend Jody Valenti was wounded. Police found no motives or leads. On October 23rd, Berkowitz struck again, critically wounding Carl De Niro, 20, as he sat in his car chatting with a female friend, Rosemary Keenan. Just over a month later, on November 27th, Donna Damasi, 16, and Joanne Lamino, 18, were shot while sitting on the porch outside Lamino's home. Lamino was left paraplegic. On July 30th, 1977, Berkowitz fatally shot Christine Freund. I'm probably destroying these people's names, guys. Again, if you're not here for this, for the paranormal, then you got to be here to hear me not be able to read my own handwriting or just not be able to pronounce anything. Christine Freund, 26, as she sat in her car with her fiancé John Deal, 30. They were heading out for a dance after watching the movie Rocky. On March 8th, Columbia University student Virginia Voskarnichian, 19, was shot to death and killed while walking home in Manhattan. At the murder scene, a bullet was found intact, and it proved to be a match with the bullet found at the scene of Berkowitz's first murder. The New York police announced the serial killer was on the loose. He was described as a white male in his 20s with black hair and average height and build. The city was thrown into a frenzy, and the killing didn't stop. On April 17th, Valentina Serini, 18, and Alexander Esu, 20, were shot and killed while they kissed in their parked car. What's unique about the double murder is the killer left a note addressed to New York Police Department, Captain Joseph Borelli, written mostly in capitals, where he identified himself as the Son of Sam. And here is part of the letter. JB, please inform all detectives working the case that I wish them the best of luck. Keep them digging, drive on, think positive, get off your butts, knock on coffins, etc., etc. Upon my capture, I promised to buy all the guys working on the case a new pair of shoes if I can get up the money. Sincerely, the Son of Sam. And the Son of Sam had his weird insignia, his logo. On June 26th, the Son of Sam struck again, wounding Judy Placido, 17, and Sal Lupo, 20. as they sat in their car after leaving a disco. On July 31st, just 2 days after the anniversary of his first killing, Berkowitz shot a young couple kissing in a parked car in Brooklyn. Stacy Moskowitz, 20, was fatally wounded, and her boyfriend, Bobby Violente, also 20, lost his left eye and nearly all vision in his right eye. The NYPD formed a 200-person task force to capture the son of Sam, with many officers working undercover throughout the night, hoping to catch the killer in the act. But simple, old-fashioned police work ended up bringing the son of Sam's killing rampage to an end. When a witness reported a strange man on the street at the scene of the final shooting, police crossed and checked the traffic tickets issued in the area and traced a yellow Ford Galaxy to Berkowitz's Yonkers home. On August 10, 1977, at 10 p.m., Berkowitz walked out of his Yonkers apartment and into the arms of waiting police. "What took you so long?" Berkowitz infamously asked detectives at the scene. In his confession, Berkowitz claimed that his neighbor's dog, a black Labrador Retriever, was possessed by an ancient demon and commanded him to kill. On May 8, 1979, Berkowitz pleaded guilty to 8 separate shootings and was sentenced to 25 years to life for each murder, to be served consecutively. Berkowitz, who is now 65, remains in the Shawangunk Correctional Facility in Wallkill, New York. Today he's found Jesus and now refers to himself as the Son of Hope. So, Berkowitz is blaming this all on a demon. It was like that for years. He never changed his outlook. He never changed why he did it or anything like that. He just said that, the dog was possessed by a demon. Now, he eventually said that the dog wasn't possessed by a demon. Then he flip-flopped back and forth with it. But instead, they found out something called the Sons of Sam. Now, the Sons of Sam, it says that there was more than one person. So I'm going to read you this. This is also information that I found, that I wrote down, and I'm going to tell you it as I saw it. Based on the works of journalist Maury Terry, the Sons of Sam, Descent into Darkness, looks beyond David Berkowitz for the shooting murders that unfolded from 1976 to 1977 in New York City. Terry's theory was there wasn't just one son of Sam, but multiple. Ultimately, Terry believed that the so-called Sons of Sam could be traced back to a cult called the Children, which was connected to the likes of Scientology and Charles Manson's family. But how did that connection come about? Here's what you need to know. While looking into Berkowitz, Terry connected him to John and Michael Carr, brothers who were literally sons of a man named Sam. The journalist strongly believed that these brothers were involved in the Sons of Sam killings and looked further into their past connections. He found that the siblings had been killed to the Church of Scientology in their past. A deep dive into Scientology revealed off-branch of a group called the Process Church of the Final Judgment, studying to be auditors for Scientology. Robert and Marianne de Grimston met at the L. Ron Hubbard Institute for Scientology in London during the 60s. After their experience with Scientology, the duo wanted something more extreme, so they started the Process, which initially dealt with psychotherapy technology. The de Grimstons went to Mexico when a devastating hurricane struck in 1966. They became convinced that they were to bring good and evil together, becoming devoted to bringing on the end of the world, to pave a new way of life, setting up camp everywhere, including the United States. The Process Church started partaking in dark rituals that involved wearing black capes and sacrificing German shepherds. They even became connected with occult leader Charles Manson when they spread out to California, and some believe that Manson learned everything he knew from the Process in the family. Author Ed Sanders initially suggested that Manson belonged to a Process chapter, though he later retracted this claim when the church sued him. The Process Church went underground in 1974 and started splintering into smaller groups just north of New York City. A cult called the Children cropped up. The Process Church has since denied any connection to the Son of Sam case. However, Terry theorized that Berkowitz possibly played a similar role for the Children as Manson did for the family. Both groups had bizarrely familial names, and also integrated, I can't even say these words, guys, integrated occult practices into their rituals. In a letter to Terry, Berkowitz also admitted that he was part of the bigger group carrying out the Son of Sam murders. While many have leveraged skepticism against Terry over the years, his comprehensive body of evidence, despite being marked by many rabbit holes, may convince you that Berkowitz wasn't the sole proprietor of the terror that unleashed in the 70s. It was also said that this cult broke out into worshiping demons, and that Satanism became their main process. So it's up to you guys to believe if David Berkowitz was possessed by a demon, if a demon told him to kill. I do know that he says he's a man of God now, and he's faith-bound, and he's the son of hope. But all those many years ago, he killed so many people with just carelessness and wrote letters to New York Police Department. Some even tried to say that he was the Zodiac before the Zodiac was the Zodiac. So, I don't know. You believe what you want to believe, or not before the Zodiac, after the Zodiac was the Zodiac. But you believe what you want to believe. I don't believe that David Berkowitz was a Zodiac killer at all. David Berkowitz was his own thing. Now, do I believe that a cult could have got him into this? Yes, I do believe that. And they could have went on a murderous rampage, much like the Manson family did. If Charles Manson had a tie in this cult that he was in, and he did the Tate LaBianca murders and all the other murders, they even say at the Manson family ranch that there's bodies underneath the ground that they haven't even discovered yet. So if Charles Manson was a part of this, and yes, I wholeheartedly believe that there was multiple killers, and that there could be Son of Sams out there. And who's Sam? I even read where David Berkowitz was writing letters to a man named Sam and was calling him father. So who is this Sam? Who is this big leader of the children? I don't know. I just thought it was an intriguing story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun researching it. I love doing this stuff. I like doing the true crime along with the paranormal. It tied in with demons and rituals and cults. So it was really, I love reading about all of that. So I'm glad that you guys got to hear this episode. I had a fun time doing it. I'm going to do some more like that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you oh so very much for all the support that you guys give. And you guys will hear from me tomorrow night. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.